Hey Gemini, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We'll take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline here, check your other major placements. Geminis, you are last but not least, of course. It's the moon's fault you're last this time. So we're starting with this intuitive deck of this oracle deck of Moonology and Work Your Light, and I'm going to get a little bit of an intuitive read. We'll take whatever cards come out as a paragraph, kind of relating all to each other directly, and then I'll use the Golden Tarot for a more traditional spread. All right, what else we have here? Anything else from this deck? Anything else from that? Okay. This deck. All right, perfect. We have a paragraph. Oh my gosh, Gemini, you could not get any better of a reading. This is great. Oh my gosh, and you've even got a new moon in Gemini here. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, we'll start with this one. Longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So you, there's something you're longing for. I think longing for a sense of home, a sense of community. You could be a little homesick. You could be thinking about your home. Could be thinking about your home. You also need to be thinking, if you aren't already, about what lights you up. What brings you joy? This has something to do with something that makes you feel both comfortable and happy. Comfortable, happiness, what brings you joy? What sorts of things what adventures and experiences do you like having? Well, whatever you find, whatever you know, don't try to pretend you don't like it. Don't dim to fit in. Don't try to pretend that it doesn't make you enthusiastic. One of the things that makes me incredibly enthusiastic is learning new things. I know it very well, so that means I often have to just relearn something, which is exciting since I like learning, so it's not a problem for me. So, but this is so sometimes though, I get very enthusiastic about learning a new thing, and other people are really surprised by that level of enthusiasm. But I've learned that that's their problem. If they've never seen anyone get this excited about learning something new or connecting new dots, it just makes all of it really lights me up. It really lights me up. So it makes me very excited, and then people, I have my experiences that not everybody gets that. Not everybody understands that or where I'm coming from with that. So it literally isn't the most exciting thing I've ever learned. It's just that learning is the most exciting thing I get to experience, right? Well, maybe not the most exciting, but you know. So don't dim to fit in. Don't pretend that it's not exciting. Don't pretend that what lights you up doesn't light you up. Don't act like it. In fact, you're supposed to talk about it. Tell somebody what you're excited about, what makes you happy, what's unique about you, what's maybe even a little strange about you, what's gotten some weird reactions in the past. Be clear about it. Don't dim to fit in. Don't pretend you're not who you are. This is communication. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. Do not pretend you're not who you are. And I think that this is a new beginning for you of something where maybe you've hidden your light under a bushel. No, you're not doing that anymore. You're being who you are. You're saying what you want to say. You're saying what you think. You're being honest about who you are, and honest about what excites you, and honest about what you're dreaming of, and honest about what you want your home to look like. So prosperity lies ahead. This is going to turn out very well for you. Very well. New moon in Taurus. So we have prosperity lies ahead. Good things coming for you. Good things lie ahead. So, yeah. Sounds great. I love this prosperity lies ahead card. So good things are in store here, but I think you're going to have to be honest with who you are, fully about what you like. I want to say like what music you like, what you like to do, something about communication, and music can be a communication that really lights you up and really excites you. And there's money in that gold mine of what excites you, right? So a win-win outcome is forecast. No difficult compromises, no terrible, it's not going to be, prosperity lies ahead and a win-win outcome is forecast. How could you get better cards than that? And the full moon in Libra is about communication. It's about a relationship where everybody gets what they want. But you're going to have to come in. Oh, you know, one of the things that really bothers me is when somebody agrees to something and then later they say they didn't like it, or they didn't want that, or they didn't want to do that, and you're like, and you're like, well, why didn't you say something? Like, a compromise, a win-win outcome could have happened. But when you don't even say what you want, how is anybody else here supposed to help us get to a win-win outcome if you're not talking about it? Or did you change your mind and now you want to go back and say you never wanted it? So that's annoying too. So you got to say what you want. I mean, we were just talking about this, I think, with Taurus, about the Michelle Schacht song where it's that bad boy, and the community considers him bad. Well, he lights shit on fire, but also he's the only one who could name his desire. And you got to say what you want, what you really want, not what you think the other person wants to hear. Because how can you get to a win-win outcome if you're not? There's no win-win. If you pre-compromise, pre-dim yourself, it's you're the one that decided there's no win-win possible. So you dim yourself and you go along with what the other person says without ever even thinking about or asking for what you want. It's not fair to other people, and it's definitely not fair to you. All right, Gemini. This is your past. Wait a minute, where are we? Yeah, okay. This is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Oh, yeah. Okay, in your recent past, you have the Hermit card, paying attention to your own path, doing some soul searching, figuring out what it is that you want, what lights you up. Where do you want to go? What feels like home to you? What feels like your path, your natural path? Figuring that out, understanding that, getting some clarity on that. Maybe taking some time out. It could have been, time alone, time single, which is incredibly important. And I think should be the norm, really. Time single, to maybe time out from work, something like that, where you did some soul searching and figured out a lot more about who you were and what you wanted out of life. This is St. Francis of Assisi. He talked to animals, somehow became a saint. That's a really unique path. He did not dim to fit in. He would not be St. Francis of Assisi if he had dimmed himself and pretended he didn't like talking to animals, with this communication is key. It could be that, pretending he didn't like talking to animals, communicating with animals, pretending he didn't like to do that. We wouldn't know who he was if he'd sat there the whole time and said, that's weird, I can't do that. No one will accept me and no one will love me. But instead, he became a saint, and he's like literally the saint everybody loves the most, right? Nine of Swords, you're in nightmare energy. You're thinking about all the things that can go wrong. It's all in your head. You're actually safe in your bed. Okay, in this one, you got a little dog that might chomp your fingertips off. But for the most part, this is the nightmare card. Your fears, your worries, your depressions, they have to do with what's going on in your own head. You're facing some depression, some worry. Oftentimes, sometimes I think that depression, on top of, is a chemical thing, but sometimes we can also feel depressed when we're not, I think Jim Carrey talks about this, when we're not really being true to ourselves, when our life has shifted and who we are has shifted and we're not following suit. We're not going along with that shift, and we're trying to resist some true part of ourselves that wants to come out. It's worth exploring and examining, if not being a mantra or a irrefutable truth. But it's worth exploring. Are you not living true to yourself? Is that what's depressing you? And anxiety too, having to, worrying about what other people think, worrying about how other people are going to perceive you. I see that you need to drop all of that and not be quite so worried. I mean, we're social creatures. Our survival has, for most of our evolution, that was an interesting slip of the tongue. For most of our evolution, we are, interdependent. Our survival depends on us being part of a tribe, part of a community. So that's where a lot of social anxiety comes from, and a lot of anxiety about what other people are going to think. Because historically, if other people all decided they didn't like us, we were basically kicked out and dead, right? So there is something to be. So social anxiety isn't the weirdest, most bizarre thing ever. It's just now that there's like whole systems in place, and that we can have a lot more independence from what other people think. And I say take advantage of it, because because I think that this is what our ancestors were craving, is some sort of independence to be who they wanted to be, to find their own tribe of people and be who they wanted to be. And not be quite so dependent. I mean, we are interdependent, but picking who you're interdependent with. And we have a lot of systems in place, and however unfair and unjust much of this is, we should at least be taking advantage of the advantages, which is this freedom to be who we are and to find our own tribe, and to not just be dependent on whatever tribe we were born into for our survival and conforming to those norms for our survival. So, anyway, anxiety, fears, anxiety. You're literally safe, but you've got a lot of anxiety about something going on. And what you're dreaming of is 10 of coins, fulfillment in work and life, relationships, very fulfilling, finances, having an abundance of everything you need. This could be family money coming in. This could be inheritance you're thinking about. This could be legacy, what kind of legacy you're going to be leaving for your kids. There's a lot of, you're dreaming, this is everybody's dream. This is the dream. This is the dream. Having as much as you need, having abundance. And I love how everybody's just engaged in their own unique hobby. I think this talks about the freedom to be, to engage in what inspires you and what thrills you, and that financial freedom to do that, and the support of your community, because everybody here is engaged in a little activity. Some are doing music, some are reading, some are picking fruit and gardening, someone's scooping cat litter. I don't know, whatever floats your boat here. And there's pets, and there's just like everybody gets to do the thing that they're passionate about. And that's a dream I have for our whole society. And that's a dream that you have for your life right now, is getting to do something that you're passionate about. And there's enough money for that. There's plenty, there's an abundance of what everybody needs in order to pursue their passions. And what's at issue here is the 7 of Wands. You have a dream that you're not defending. So normally this would be great, difficult, but great. You're defending your dream. But right now you're not defending anything. You're not fighting for your right to party. You're not doing anything that you need to be doing. You're not fighting something. There's something here that you need to fight for. And I use that term loosely, but you need to stand up for yourself, stand up for what inspires you. This is Wands. It's what inspires you, your dream. Stand up for that. Push back on somebody that's pushing on you. Everybody's going to be happy in the end, right? Win-win forecast. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy in the end. That's what you want. And this prosperity lies ahead, and everybody's, oh my gosh, this is this card, basically. This is what you're dreaming of. This is what you want. It's coming. It's coming too. We've got the Sun card here coming in with a lot of happiness. So prosperity lies ahead. A win-win outcome is forecast. You've got this dream. I'm just going to skip to the end here. It's coming in with a lot of joy and happiness and clarity here. So, oh man, this reading is off the hook wonderful. I hope the reality is off the hook wonderful, and we're not just talking about a simple grocery store trip. You've got some major arcana. You're finding out what floats your boat, what you want to do, and it's coming in. It's going to come in. There's some tricks here, but you got to stand up for something, okay? There's some sort of negotiation. Everybody can get what they want. You have to communicate what it is that you want, and you have to begin negotiations, because that's not happening right now. This is like, you didn't even say what you wanted. You didn't even say that you didn't want to go there or do that or live there or have that car. You never even mentioned it. That's what this card's telling me in the reverse like this. In your environment, there are a lot of options. There's a lot of ways you could go. There's one that's more authentic, and I think that's one you're being pushed to do. But there could be just a lot of options, and maybe you haven't said what you wanted yet, which of these options appeals to you. But there's just, and your environment could be fairly overwhelming here with too many options or too many decisions to be made. You could be overwhelmed by a decision-making process. You could be very overwhelmed by a decision-making process that's being presented to you, and you don't quite know what to do with it. This is saying, you need to figure out what you want. You need to state it very clearly, and it's going to turn out awesome. So if you tend to be shy about saying what you want, this is saying make sure you're being clear about what you want, because there's a lot of things that you could want. There's a lot of, if you're asking people to guess, they've got a lot of things they could guess wrong, okay, about what you want. There's just an overwhelming array of options here and possibilities, but you need to just find the one that kind of sparks something here, right? Your to-do list is 2 of Cups. This is connecting with somebody, sharing with someone. Well, communication is key, and that's what I feel like this card is coming in as. Sharing your feelings, sharing your emotions very honestly, very openly with someone who's significant to you, part of this decision-making process. I mean, it looks like you know what you want, but your environment has a lot of possible options, and you might be trying to figure out what you should do when this is what you need to do, is your heart, what you want out of the situation. Not what you should do, not all the options, not all the things that are supposed to be happening here, and all the things that other people are offering. It's like sometimes when I was little, I'd go shopping with my mom, and well, when I was older, I'd go shopping with my mom, and you know, I'd be like, oh, I like this. And then she'd immediately be like, and what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And of course, she's trying to make sure she presents options to me and that I'm not just like going with the first thing I see, but it's not the first thing I saw. It's the first thing I liked. It's what I liked, right? But, you know, from her perspective, she's trying to be very helpful. And I find myself doing this with my own kids too. Like, are you sure that's what you want? What about this? And what about this? And what about this? But you know what you want. You know what you want. You don't need to be presented with a bunch of options right here because you know what you want. So, and you need to communicate it. Heart-filled communication. What do you want? What do you want out of this relationship? What do you want with this job? What do you want? You know, I was talking about grocery shopping trip. You know the crackers you want. You don't need someone sitting there going, what about these crackers? That's just going to be confusing. Just stick with what you want. Know what it is, and communicate it very clearly. This is your job. We've got 2 things. Communication is key, and this is a heartfelt communication with whatever kindred spirit, whatever partnership that this is. Say what you want. Communicate very clearly, and of course, it's an exchange, right? They both have cups in their hands. They both have things that they feel and they think, and I love it because it looks like this. They've got these 2 cups. And this almost looks like 2 cups here, balanced. Emotional balance, equality in some sort of situation. And it may be that that's what everybody wants, is an equality. And you're trying to think what they want, and they're trying to think what you want. But it could be that both of you just want to share and to be equal and to have a give and take in this partnership, right? So sharing with a partner, sharing with whoever's else involved, and where you're going. Sun card, happy, joy, clarity, growth, dreams coming true, all of that. Very beautiful. All right, we're going a little fast here because deadlines in other parts of my life. So, taking some time out, maybe to think about what you want. Unsettled energy. Oh, this is one of my favorites. So, magic of the moon to manifest. Just as the light of the moon ebbs and flows, all things happen according to a timing that benefits the greater garden of life. How short-lived that garden would seem if all flowers bloomed at once and then it was over. As the next moon grows full, set your intention. Your time for blossoming is near. I like that we have a focus on setting your intentions, talking about what you want. I think that's beautiful. And then we have medicine of the Divine Mother. Choose your divine medicine to feel grounded and peaceful. Your morning walk, daily prayer, or yoga class, your time to dance each evening or meditate, to do an oracle card reading or sit quietly with a cup of tea and reflect upon what you are grateful for in that moment. Simple daily routines done with awareness allow you to feel my love for you. So, taking care of yourself, feeling good. All right. Well, Gemini, this is a really beautiful reading. So anyway, congrats on your week or whatever time period we're talking about. Thank you so much for your likes and your subscribes and your comments. I really appreciate them.